Today in the lodge kitchen I'm going to cook some chapatis. For chapatis you need preferably atta flour, but strong wholemeal flour will do the trick as well. So I've got 250 grams of strong wholemeal flour, and into that you need a teaspoon of salt, which is going to go in, and 175 millilitres or grams of warm water. So first of all, mix your salt and flour together, and then in goes your warm water, and that's just going to mix in together to form a dough. And then that dough needs to be kneaded for 5 minutes on your work surface. Now bring it all together, and then we'll pop it on the board and knead it. Out it comes. It's very easy to bring it together. It's an unleavened bread chapati, so you don't have any yeast in it. It's a flat bread. What I'll do is I'll just get a little bit more flour and put that underneath it and then knead it. I'll just sprinkle a little wholemeal flour on the work surface and then knead this for 5 minutes. So you just keep going until it's really nice and smooth, and same kneading action as we've used before. So push away with the heel of your hand, pull back and keep going round 5 minutes. Now I've been kneading for 5 minutes now, and that nice smooth dough, that's going to make 12 chapatis. So what we're going to do is just wrap that up in a tea towel and leave it to rest for at least 15 minutes, and then we'll come back to it and we'll start to roll them out. Our chapati dough's been resting for half an hour, so it should be nice and soft and smooth, and we're going to cut that into 12 pieces, so into quarters and then thirds, and hopefully, if my maths is correct, which oftentimes it isn't, that should make 12. You can obviously reduce the amount if you want to, and then you want a little bit of flour on your work surface. Roll the chapati dough into a ball, and then with a rolling pin, a little more flour on the rolling pin, you're going to roll those out into discs about 6 inches, which 10 centimeters roughly in diameter. Probably not a very good metric conversion, but a little bit more flour and just roll them out. They want to be relatively thin, so we'll do that to all 12 chapatis and then we'll cook them. So we're in a smoky kitchen now. This is a traditional chapati pan called a dawa. If you don't have a dawa, you can use a flat frying pan. And what I've put on there, just brushed on some, this is clarified butter. So I melted the butter, let the milk solids drop to the bottom, and then you just use the fat, the butter part from it, so the milk solids are taken away. That gives it a higher burn point. And this, you just cook on one side. This isn't going to puff up like a chapati would do if you were cooking it on a gas surface. With induction, it's a bit difficult to replicate that, but you cook it on one side, and then we're going to flip it over and cook it on the other, and just brush it with a little more of the butter before we put it back down again. So just put a little bit more on and turn it over, and then cook it on the other side. Maybe flip it again just to make sure that it has a little bit of char on it too. I'll just give that a bit more heat. It's a fine line between burning and undercooking with these. You want a little bit of char on each side. So we're working our way through the chapatis, and remember, you can keep them warm. I keep mine warm in a warming cupboard, which I have below me here, or you can keep them warm between a tea towel, sort of wrapped over the top. If you want to cook them in advance, you can wrap them up in aluminium foil, put them in an oven at about 120 for 10 to 15 minutes, and that'll warm them through.